So what if everything we think we know about true love is wrong? Today, we're diving into a really profound and, let's be honest, pretty challenging idea from Hasidic thought that basically turns our entire concept of love on its head. It's a question we all ask ourselves, right? We think of romance, of connection, family. But what if the very foundation of what we typically call love is actually something else entirely?
And there it is, the central paradox. This single idea challenges our most basic assumptions about relationships. It suggests that our needs, the very things that pull us towards someone, could actually be the biggest obstacle to truly loving them. So how is that even possible? How does that work?
Okay, to really wrap our heads around this, we have to start by drawing a very sharp line between two ideas we constantly mix up: symbiosis and true love.
The source material makes a brutally honest point here using this really powerful analogy. It argues that much of what we call love isn't love at all. It's symbiosis. It's a relationship based purely on mutual need. It's basically a transaction.
And this distinction is absolutely everything. See, symbiosis is conditional. I love you because you make me feel secure, right? But what happens when those conditions aren't met? Well, that so-called love just kind of disappears. True love, on the other hand, is unconditional. It's not about getting, it's all about giving. It asks, what does this person truly need? Even when the answer is just space.
Okay, so why do we get this so wrong? Why do we constantly mistake this needs-based connection for real love? Well, according to the source, there's one primary culprit: the ego.
And that culprit has a name, a concept called yeshut. It's our ego, our sense of being a separate I in the world. This is the part of us that is constantly keeping a list of our own wants, our needs, our fears, and our expectations. It's that little voice inside that's always asking, yeah, but what about me?
And this right here is the core of the problem. When our ego is running the show, we literally can't see the other person for who they are. We only see them through the filter of our own needs. They become a mirror for our own desires. And when that reflection isn't what we want, we get disappointed. Okay, so if the ego is the problem, how in the world do we begin to see it clearly? How do we even know when it's in control? The source offers a really powerful tool.
These teachings aren't just some abstract philosophy. They're meant to be a practical light, like a mirror for self-reflection. And the goal isn't to judge ourselves harshly, not to beat ourselves up, but to honestly identify the ego's mechanisms so we can start to actually work with them. And this requires getting really specific. The source calls for a detailed and precise accounting of our inner world. It means asking the tough questions. Why did that little comment bother me so much? What am I truly afraid of losing in this relationship? This kind of honest inventory is the absolute essential first step. So once we've identified the ego's patterns, the next step is action. But it involves redefining a very, very loaded word: sacrifice.
In this context, sacrifice, or korban in Hebrew, doesn't mean painfully losing something. Its root word, karav, actually means to draw close. So a korban is the act of consciously setting aside the I want of the ego in order to remove the barrier between you and another person, or between you and the divine. It's about getting close.
So what does this practice actually look like? Well, it's a three-step process. First, contemplation. You recognize the ego's demand. Second, nullification or bitol. You consciously decide to set that need aside. And third, with that barrier gone, you can finally achieve a true, real connection. Just think about that image for a moment. Letting go of the ego can feel like a kind of death, right? Like a seed rotting in the ground. But the source teaches that it's not an end. It's the necessary step before something new and infinitely more expansive can begin to grow.
So what does this new growth look like? Well, this process leads to a fundamental shift in our entire perception of ourselves and the world.
The ego's default position is one of dependence. Our sense of safety and value is tied to external things. If people approve of us, if we have enough money, if our relationships are going well, then we feel okay. We're constantly seeking to be filled up from the outside. The new perspective flips this entirely. Security and self-worth become an inside job, rooted in a connection to something unchanging and infinite. And suddenly, that constant, desperate need for the world's approval, it just begins to fall away. And this isn't arrogance, it's a profound inner peace. And this shift changes our entire purpose.
Life is no longer this quest to get what we want, whether it's from people or from a higher power. Instead, our purpose becomes to reveal goodness and connection and divinity in the world through our actions. And all of this leads us right back to that initial paradox of love. Now we can finally see how all the pieces really fit together.
Here is the final takeaway. True, unconditional love isn't something we achieve by just trying harder. It's the natural result of becoming whole within ourselves first. When you're not an empty vessel trying to get filled up by others, you become a full vessel, free to give without needing anything in return. You no longer need them, and so, for the very first time, you are truly free to love them.
And this is the question this entire explainer leaves us with. It's a challenging, really profound thought. Just imagine that freedom. Who could you show up for? How would your relationships change? What would that kind of love actually feel like? Something to really think about. Thanks for joining me.